Today is the 22nd of September, and we are at webinar number 6, which is myBIZ Financials Part 1, where we're going to be talking costing and pricing. What's further to come, Portia?
Yeah, so we've got our next webinar is going to be on the 6th of October. So just be aware, guys, that you don't use the old calendar. We've got a new calendar now. Just make sure you check you don't use the old one. And then in webinar 6, we're going to do myBIZ Financials, which is going to be our part 2. We'll be looking at record keeping and reporting. And then webinar 8, we'll be looking at myBIZ compliance, which is very, very important. Most of us never succeed because we don't comply. So really, this is important. And we're going to have an expert for this. And then webinar 9, our closeout day, our business presentations and graduation. Yeah, that's how it looks. And it's going to be on the 17th of November.
Beautiful. Portia, any other announcements that you have?
Yes. Yeah, I just wanted to remind people, remember, guys, on the 17th of November, when we're saying business presentations, we're talking pitches. So if you want to pitch on this day, make sure you prepare yourself. And also there is obviously a qualifying criteria. You should be attending 6 out of 8 of these webinars that we have, and also just follow up on your coaching. And then you will be provided with the necessary resources to build your BMCs and prepare for the pitching. But if you don't attend, obviously enough, you won't qualify. The coaching sessions are still in progress. Those who are not yet coached, please note that you will be contacted for your sessions. And if maybe you miss a call or you miss your day of appointment, please call your coach. If you need maybe a number for your coach, maybe you can speak to Izue or just send a message on the group. Some pitching tips will be sent to you via Facebook and WhatsApp to start preparing for your pitches. So let's start practicing. Guys. There's so much information on the internet. You can Google and look at other pitches, and there's also shows on TV that you always see where people are pitching, and just get some tips from there. And remember to incorporate all that you've learned. And please apply your learnings to your business. And the other thing, if you haven't submitted your assignments, please do, even if it's late, just so that we can see and evaluate, your understanding and application of the content. So we just want to see if you're applying it correctly. If we say it's a BMC, do you understand what is value proposition? So that maybe your coach can say, I think you didn't understand what value proposition. Let's look at it again. So please send those homeworks to us. Yeah, and you know where to send it. It's ivuentrepreneurs.co.za. So I think we can kick off. Yeah.
Sure. I think just another reminder, guys, remember, as far as the coaching sessions are concerned, I don't know how many of you know, but a session with a coach of this caliber of the program, of the coaches that we have in the program, would cost you anything from 1,000 to 2,000 Rand for an hour of their time. And so although you're getting it for free, it's not free. It's being paid by somebody. And you absolutely cannot put a Rand value on this, because the amount of value you get from these coaching sessions can really, really turn your business around. So please take full advantage of those coaching sessions. Show up for them, book them, and just make use of it. It's not something that comes along every day. Let's go, Portia.
True. I always say I wish I had that opportunity, to get a coach for free. But I know it's not for free. Obviously, you pay for it. Maybe I'll ask one of our coaches to coach me. All right. So in today's webinar, we'll be discussing the following. We'll be talking about costing and pricing and a number of things, but we're going to start with the importance of costing, determining your selling price, your gross profit calculations. We'll look at net profit calculations, value-added tax, and break-even analysis. So this is like a lot. But at least we've got a guest today. Our famous guest from last year, our finance expert, is going to be here. At least he's going to explain. He always explains in a simple way, to people, because he's got vast experience. So Darren, so maybe we can kick off with costing.
That's right. So guys, I know today we're talking numbers, but numbers are important. If you're running your business, you have to know the numbers. So I would encourage you, take notes, write down some of the formulas, and please ask questions. All right. We want to make sure that you leave this webinar understanding all of these things. All right. So the first one we're going to talk about is costing and pricing. And so this is obviously very, very important when it comes to your business. And so let's start with costing your product. So costing your product provides a way in which we can manage how much our product or service is costing us to manufacture, or how much your service is costing you to perform. And it also allows us to monitor and manage these costs. And so that's why it's so important that we understand what costing our product is.
Yeah. So costing is very just a method to make sure you understand the cost of your goods and services. And obviously you incorporate other business elements into it. You're not just saying, okay, I bought this for this, I'm gonna sell it for 60 rands, I bought it for 50, I'm gonna sell it for, you can't just sum suck the amount. So there's other business elements that goes into that cost. So it's also a technique, and as with any other processes, it follows a certain procedure and a number of rules and regulations. So you need to have a rule in your business because our products are different, our services are different, and you know your costs. Except for that, you bought this product for this much, but there are other costs that you are incurring while you are buying this product or while you are making that product. All right, so that's what we're going to be looking at.
Now, the reason why it is important to know your costing, and this is why costing is so important, is because it provides a way in which you can manage how much our product or service is costing us to manufacture or perform, and also allows us to manage these costs, right? So that is the reason why it's important.
Yeah. So product costing entails the identifying and assigning costs to each component, exactly what I just said earlier, of the product or service, including direct costs, such as your raw materials and labor. Because if somebody is making a product for you, or an employee who's involved in actually baking the cake, that's labor. So you need to include those costs when you are costing. And then indirect costs, such as your overhead expenses, administration expenses, your phone bill, your salaries and all that. Yeah. So there are labor costs, but there's also salaries. Right?
Portia, do you find that a lot of people don't take all of those components into account when they determine the cost? They just think, I bought this calculator for 100 Rand, I'm selling it for 500 Rand, but they don't realize that they had to take a taxi to go and buy it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and usually it's usually they price less. They never price more because they think, my product is not gonna sell, so they just come up with a little markup. I won't even call it a markup. It's like, I'll just put 10 Rand on top of that, But things don't work like that. You need to consider the other costs, So usually when people, they'll say, I don't have expenses, and it happens even in our group today, when you're asking people to have expenses, no, I don't. And then you ask questions like, so how did you get to the wholesaler when you went to buy? No, I took a taxi or I took an Uber. But that's an expense. That's a cost that you incur while you try to get that product. So those are the costs that are very important to think about. Even that phone call when you order, it's your money, it's your airtime going. So you need to look at how much the airtime that you bought for the month, the transport that you took for the month. But the thing is, we don't write things down, so it's not easy to track or remember. So I think with the Uber, it's nice. I know with me, what I do, I go look at my receipts and I print. So like a couple of days ago, a week ago, I went to the airport for a client to take a flight. So those Uber transport to the airport, I make sure I take out those slips as expenses for me so that I can claim them and invoice the client. So that's an expense for me. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into the key elements of product and service costing.
All right. Yeah. So the selling price of your product is obviously the selling price is equals to cost price plus markup. So you can't just have a selling price from just buying. So you need to set a markup. All right. So your selling price is from how much you got the product for and all the other costs we've been talking about. That determines your markup. So your markup per product is the difference between the cost of the product and the selling price of the product. So you can also write this markup is equals to selling price and cost price, right? Minus cost price. So it's selling price less cost price.
Okay, then you can also calculate the selling price of a product, because if we know the cost price and we know the markup percentage, okay, it's because selling price is cost price plus markup. And so I think one of the things that happens very often in business is people think, this is how much I'm selling it for, this is how much this is how much I bought it for, this is how much I'm selling for. And you don't actually realize that you need to know what is that markup percentage. Is that what we're saying, Portia?
Yeah, that's what we say. And the thing is, I know this means different things for different businesses. All right. So we are going to look at different examples. So when you're producing a product or products, it's important that you first work out the cost of that product. Okay. So you need to think of what goes into making my product, what goes into making my kota, what goes into making my cake. or my skirt, So what are the items that you need to actually make this product? How much are the items you need? You still need to know how much is that baking powder. If I'm going to buy the baking, how much is it? And you need to have a sheet. So what I'll do, I'll create a sheet, a costing sheet for everybody, so that you just understand how you cost a product, just one product. Because other people have got 5 products in the shop. And fortunately, other people have got one product, which is easy if you're going to cost for one product. The other thing that you need to look at, how much of those items do you need to make that product? So if you're making a dress, it needs buttons. It might not be one button. You might need 5 buttons. So you need to say, okay, one button is 4 rand. So it means 5 buttons will be 20 rand. You see, so there's a lot that goes into this. It doesn't mean you have the buttons already in your workshop, then it means you're not going to cost them. You still have to cost them, even if you don't have to buy them. It's the stock that you've spent money on, even if it's in the past. All right. So you'll find when you talk to people, oh, so how much did it cost you to make this product? He says, no, it doesn't matter. I had the zip already. I had the buttons already, so I didn't charge her for that. Why? Those buttons and the zips were not for free. You bought them at some point. It's just that you bought them in bulk, And then I think it also goes that I think during my coaching sessions, I also mentioned this way. I'm like to somebody, do you even count your stock? Because he says, no, I bought stock in bulk for 50,000. But do you know where your stock is right now and how much have you used up of that stock? You see? Yeah. So you need, then talk about inventory, stock taking. So maybe it's also one of the things that we need to teach people, especially people who've got a lot of inventory. You need to keep knowing. Otherwise, you'll have shrinkage because you don't know who's taking stuff from your shelves. Even if you sell the most little stuff and the 100 of them, you still have to keep count. And I think that's why we've got products like your point of sale, because that calculates every time you sell stock. It calculates, okay, you had 100, now you're at 70. So now you go up buy another 30. So it controls also your stock. You don't have to go buy 100 again when you buy stock because you've used up 30 of those items. So you left with 70. So I'm going to fill up with another 30. So I think we need to also teach people about the stock taking. But if you're not tracking this, even if it's in a book, I know other people use books, others use Excel, but you need to track. And this is an everyday job. This is an every week job. This is an every month job. But I've noticed, Darren, that if you leave things for end of the month, it becomes a lot of work. I know I don't sell products, but if I do stuff end of the month, it's always a huge task for me, and it just takes time. And I don't know with you how you do your stuff.
Yeah. I know our guest is going to probably dive deep into it because he's really about keeping track and keeping record. But I think when you speak about it, it just makes so much sense. And I think it makes us realize, you don't realize sometimes you're delivering a dress to somebody and you're putting it in a nice box. That box costs you something. That ribbon costs you something. Mm-hmm. And so I think that is what Portia's saying. So let's jump into some examples. Are you still running this business, Portia's Hoodies?
I wish. I made it up. Yeah, it's my second year. So it's a simulation that it's the second year music.
So if anybody wants to start the hoodie business, if anyone wants to start the hoodie business, here's how you can do it. You can call it Portia's Hoodies.
Yes.
And Portia's explaining to you how to cost and price.
Yeah, and I see Sandile Kunene is asking a question. So Sandile will deal with the questions later, but you are right. Yeah, you have to add everything. We'll see when we talk about net profit, gross profit, and that comes up. All right. So Portia what is Portia's Hoodies? Sells hoodies and it costs her 70 rand. Her selling price for this hoodie is 120. But remember, before she starts costing and pricing, she needs to think about her costs. She's got other costs, and her variable costs per month are 4,000 rand. And this includes things like her material, her labor, because, but I think I'm going to use this one as like just buying. She's buying and then selling, not actually making, all right? So the total cost of her business are 10,000 rand. 6,000 rand, I have fixed costs, which is your rent, salaries, telephone costs, all those costs that you guys have as overhead costs. And then her variable costs are at 4,000 rand. So her total costs for the month for her business are actually 4,000 plus 6,000, that's 10,000 rand, all right? but she buys the hoodies for 70 rand and then she sells them for 120. So now we need to figure out how she can make a profit. Now she needs to sit down before she even tells people this is 120. All right. So what she does, I'm gonna maybe just pose questions. I just hope everybody has got a pen and a paper. So if she needs to cover these costs, she must make sure that she sells a number of these hoodies. All right. So maybe I'm gonna just pose a question at Darren, looking at the total cost of Portia's hoodies. If she has to sell a hoodie for 120 to cover that's 10,000 rand. To make sure she makes 10,000 rand, maybe let's pose to the people how much hoodies must she sell? What are the number of hoodies that she must sell to actually cover her cost, which is 10,000 rand?
Maybe also tell us what is the markup. I think you can see that pretty clearly from there, but we want to see, we want to get you guys a little bit involved in here. So how many hoodies does Portia need to sell to break even or to make back 10,000 rand for the month, right? Because otherwise she's running this business at a loss, and the goal of a business is to make money. Okay, so let's see, are there any hands?
Any hands? Aha, there's Sandile. Sandile Hudene says 83.3. So it means she must sell 83 hoodies or 84 hoodies to actually make sure that she makes the 10,000 rand. Yeah, that's good. So how much?
Can't even see your hand is up. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So
good morning, everyone.
Hey, go ahead.
Hi.
Yes, I was gonna say they could actually sell 84 hoodies, and then they will still have a lump sum of 80 rands, which is to get the break even. Then they'll have an extra 80 rand that will be left.
If they sell 84, but you are right. But can you see, it's like that's a break even. It means at least they've covered their costs. They can pay for their overheads. They can pay for their variable costs. They are safe. So usually when you start a business, this happens for a few months, and you must be happy if this happens, because you can't make a loss. So now, if you see that you've broken even, so what do you need to do? What do you think? You need to start saying, okay, I've sold 84 hoodies. So for me to not break even and actually make a profit, it means I need to sell more than 84 hoodies. So you need to now set up a sales target to say, if I can push and sell 100 hoodies. So let's look at if she sells 100, Portia sells 100 hoodies. What happens? Let's pause that, Darren.
Okay, so if we're selling 100 hoodies at 120 rand, what are we doing then? So anyone want to take us through how that picture or how that scenario would look? I see a hand there. I think it's in Tekani again.
They would make actually 12,000, which is a 2,000 profit over the money that they actually use to make everything.
Yeah, wouldn't that be lovely? You see now, but if you don't know your cost, you can't figure out your sales target. Can you see, Tekani? You can't figure that out. So at least now we know that, okay, if I sell 100 hoodies, I'm sure with a 2,000 rand profit. And you can always increase your sales target. Make it 150, then you know what your profit is. So people are not costing and pricing properly. That's why they don't know. And then the other thing is understanding that 50 rands that we're saying is markup. What is the markup percentage? If you look at the cost price of 70 rand and the selling price of 120, can somebody maybe tell us what is the markup percentage for Portia's hoodies?
So I know some of you have said it's 50 rand, but what is the percentage? So what is the markup percentage? I think while we're waiting for an answer to come through, Portia, what I realize is if you do your costing correctly up front, you can actually start. That's how you can make the decision to see, is this the right business for me? Because then you can ask yourself, how hard is it to find 83 customers in a month? Or how hard is it to find 150 customers in a month so that I can make a profit? And if you can see this is going to be difficult, it might help you decide, okay, actually, maybe I should sell Amagwinya because it's easier, there's a bigger market, So this is what this kind of exercise helps you to do. Alrighty, I see a hand there. Whose hand is that? Ketani again, go for it.
Yes, the percentage is about 42% of the 50 rand. It's about 42% of the total amount.
And I think, Tikane, what you could do also, knowing that fact, if you feel like, because you haven't sold the stuff, you're still making decisions, you're still playing around with numbers, and you are having a pen there and your calculator and you're busy, and you can say no, but 42%, you know, in the market is going at 50% or 60%. I'm gonna try 60%. So you can also make that decision, and that changes your pricing altogether. It changes everything, you know. So it's nice to know your numbers, guys. It makes you so comfortable. It makes you so comfortable. I've ever since I learned how to do costing, even for my service business, because it's a service business, I'm looking at my time and how many hours do I work in a month, and what is my lowest rate, because customers never give you the same rate, you know, but I know my rate is from 500 Rand. I don't do anything less than 500 Rand an hour. You know, if it's less than that, no. You know, so, and customers are different, and you always pitch, obviously, at the higher level, and then you negotiate your prices going down, you know, but always pitch higher, especially if you're a service business, you know, you must be very wise like that. Yeah, Darren, so I'm excited.
So speaking about that, why is it then that one person will be selling the very same thing but charge a higher price than their competitors? Why is it that your rate is 500 Rand, my rate is only 250 Rand? Is it because you need to wear makeup and another special outfit? Or what is the reason? So why is it that two businesses can be doing the same thing but one charges more?
Yeah, I think, this goes to the value that person's product has. We might be selling the same chicken just, you know, but Darren's chicken is free range. And people, because are thinking health-wise, they don't go for Darren's chicken, because you've mentioned when you advertise that yours is free range, and people can see the chickens running around, so they're sure that you've got free range chicken. Or with us, we made an example the other day, Darren, like, okay, so me and you are both training. So you've been training for 10 years, I've been training for 20 years. So there's probably more experience from me and more value. All right. And remember also, we talked once about being multilingual. So I can go train in Zulu, Sotho, Tswana, and then you can only train in English and Afrikaans. And I can sell myself to say, hey, this is what I can do. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Darren can do 1, 2. So, but it's the same service, but I can feel that mine maybe has value. All right. So we can talk about even like the e-hailing companies that we use. You know, even if I don't mention them, there's value in using the other one because the drivers are professional, the cars are cleaner, the cars are in a better condition. And we know that we've experienced this. It is evident that there's one e-hailing company that's actually, you know, if you use it, don't expect too much, you know, but if you're desperate, obviously, for transport at that time, you will use them because they're still going to get you to your doorstep. But you might not be as comfortable as you are using another one, you know? So that's the value.
Got it. Guys, I hope you're getting some help. I think you have another example for us on a manufacturing example. I think you touched on this already, Portia, with regards to making a skirt, how that also needs
I would like to actually just explain a little bit. Yeah. So I'm just gonna make a scenario because I like scenarios. They make you understand things better. So let's look at just a manufacturing business. I'm using a skirt, you know, because I feel like there's a number of items that you need in the skirt, but it's also not a lot of stuff because if I go baking, we're gonna spend a lot of time doing that because there's a lot of ingredients that goes into baking. All right, so let's look at, here is Lerato, comes to me. I'm a seamstress, I make clothes, and she's like, I need a skirt. I've got Heritage Day on Sunday. I'm going to this event. She comes, she says, this is the type of material I want. And she doesn't have the material. She says, this is what I want. So you take measurements, everything. And remember, sizes. So if somebody's smaller, you use less material. Somebody's bigger, use bigger material, you know, So what Portia is going to do now is obviously going to look at what items do I need to actually make this skirt. All right, you can see that skirt is very beautiful there. Okay? And then what quantity does she need to make this product? So even that material, is it 3 meters? Is it 2 meters? You know, and she knows that 1 meter is probably, let me see. I don't know prices for, maybe per meter is 160 Rand a meter. So now she sees, okay, Lerato is going to need 2 meters actually. You know, so she can't. And also, you know, when you make clothes, you can't buy the exact just 1 meter. You might need more material. You might make a mistake that you need another to cut more, And then she needs cotton thread, she needs a zip, needs buttons. All right. So what she needs to look at is how much material does she need. So she needs 2 meter material to make this. She needs 1 reel of cotton. So there I didn't put numbers, if you see there. I didn't say 2 meters, whatever. But now I've just measured the Lerato. Now I know what she's looking for. She said she wants something with a zip. She wants something with buttons at the back. Yeah, she's very stylish. So I start putting those things down. Remember, she's going to ask me how much it is. You don't have to tell your customer there and there. The skirt is going to be 150. How do you know? When you haven't gone out to go get the material, to look at the cotton that she needs, because it needs to match with the color of the dress. You can't use red on green. You can see that skirt is very colorful. So you need to go look for the cotton that's exactly going to match that skirt. The zip might be blue or yellow because you see the colors that are there, and you probably maybe don't have. And the buttons. So you need to go first get the quotations for these things, or go buy them and see how much it is, and then you put your costs together. And remember, you went to the market to go get the material, to go buy the cotton, to go buy the zip, to go buy everything, the buttons that you need. So now you need to say, okay, I also had transport. So you need to put all that. Those are the costs that we're talking about. So you're not also the time that you're taking to actually make the skirt. So you look at the prices. The material is 160. We said already per meter. You're buying 2 meters. So already that's like 380 already just on the material that you've spent. And then you've got your 30 rands of transport. So it's 380. Now it's 30 rands for me and back to the markets. All right. So how much is that already? It's 410. You haven't even included the cotton, the zip, and the buttons. Right. So now you go add the cotton thread, it's 20 rand. And then now you are at 430. Then we look at the zip. Oh, there's the zip. Okay, the zip was 15 rand. Now we're at 445. Now the buttons. The buttons are 40 rands. I don't know how much buttons are. Okay, let's say 20 rands. That is 465. Can you see? It's already 465. And then your labor. Now you must think about your labor now. All right. So okay, I'm gonna charge 150 labor. All right. So we've got 465 plus 150. Can somebody count that for me? 465 plus 150 labor.
615 rand.
650. All right. So you tell your client, you phone your client, ma'am, your skirt will be 615. So you don't just thumb suck, guys. All right. You don't thumb suck because this is just one item. But remember, in the month, you'll be doing different stuff. So now you also have to remember your cost, your overhead cost, and your variable cost to run your business. So always think about, how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to pay myself? All right. My electricity, somebody who's helping me, my labor, all those things you must take into consideration when you are actually trying to charge your clients. Yeah. I don't know how, if people, if people want to ask questions.
Are there any questions before we move on to profit calculations? Keep it open for a moment.
Sorry, I have a quick question. Do you also calculate like your transportation cost, whereby like you went to buy the fabric and then you have to add that, right?
Yes, I did. I did edit. I think I said it was 30 rands. I went to the market to go get the materials. Yeah, so I did edit. So you need to add that. Because imagine how many times you go and buy. Because somebody else is looking for something that you don't have. Especially people who are making clothes. They always go and buy stuff. You always see them. They're always busy. Going to get material, going to get buttons, going to get a zip, because people want different stuff. So you have to add that.
Hope that answers your question. Anyone else? I'm just checking the chat here to see. What is how do you calculate labor? What is the minimum labor rate? That's from Molokhadi.
Yeah, I think I know I've checked it a couple of months ago, but please guys, just check on, I don't want to lie, check on the Department of Labor, their website. They've got the rates, under the minimum wage thing. But I mean, it's up to you. If you know that, I know people are saying it's 23 rands per hour, the lowest. So I mean, it depends on the person that you are working with. If it's a wages, because the wages is when somebody is part-time, they don't work full-time, they work certain hours, or you can pay them weekly or by a daily rate. So that's a wages. And then you get your salary where people earn monthly, and they've got an amount that they get paid off. Yeah. So I think let's check on the Department of Labor, or I'll maybe I can send a link on the group so that you guys can check the rate.
I think a way to also include labor is just you need to understand how much your time is worth, especially if you are rendering the service yourself. I think Portia alluded to it earlier on when she said, for instance, she knows anything less than 500 Rand per hour in terms of work done for her is not worth her time. So eventually, once you know what you're doing, what is all the work that you do in a month, you'll be able to calculate what portion of that is going towards labor. All right, but I think for now, we just wanted to get the discussion started. Let's move on because I don't want us to run out of time. So the next thing we want to chat about is gross profit calculations. All right, and so gross profit can be expressed as a Rand value, gross profit, or as a percentage gross profit, okay? And gross profit is the difference between sales and the cost of sales over a specific period, so either monthly or annually. All right, and so there's the formula at the bottom. Gross profit is sales minus cost of sales. Alrighty.
And again, you see, you'll never know that. You'll never know your gross profit if you don't know your cost. You get it? Because you know how much you're selling for, but you don't know how much it costs you to make a muffin or a scone. I always tell people, even people who are making scones, they need to experiment. Start afresh. Go buy that 12 kg flour, the 5 kg sugar, the margarine that they use to actually bake, every ingredient that goes into that muffin. And you experiment, use the whole bag and see how many muffins or how many scones are going to come out of everything that you've bought. Use that whole flour and see. And then if maybe there's scones, like there's 200 scones or 300 scones that come out of a 12 kg, and the 12 kg is, I don't know, $70. I'm not sure how much flour is. I don't bake, guys. So I'm saying, let me say it's 70 Rand, and then you get 300. Then you can take 300, and see, like, divided by that 70, how much will the scone cost for you? So that's how you get your numbers. But I feel like physically you need to experiment with your ingredients. Don't just bake. And then you decide, I'm going to sell a scone at 10 Rand. How do you know you're making a profit? And how do you know how much? Even if you're making it, how much? You still need to know how much. Okay, let's say you are making it, but how much? Can you tell somebody else? Can you tell your coach how much it costs you to make one scone? And then how much is your gross profit? You won't know that. All right. So gross profit is mostly expressed as a percentage of your sales price. So we often need to know what percentage is our sale or of our sales is profit. And if you're not understanding your cost, you're not going to know. If you don't know how you got to that selling price, you're not going to know what your profit is. So we call this the gross profit ratio. So often also referred as the gross profit percentage. So they say gross profit percentage is equals to gross profit divided by your sales amount times 100. That's how you get the percentage. All right. Then let's move on there. Yeah. And I also saw another definition which I thought was very simple. They say gross profit is the total of all sales of goods and services, all right, minus the cost of producing the goods and services. All right, that I felt like was very, very simple. All right, and then let's look at gross profit is equals to sales minus cost of sales for the month of July. So you must always look for that because things change. It's never the same. It depends on how much you've sold. All right, how much have you sold? So here you can see in August we sold 10 pairs. 10 pairs were sold. All right, so you're going to say our gross profit is equals to 150 Rand times my number of shoes that I sold minus 50 times 10. All right, so that's the formula for that. And then I think I like, because Mike is going to explain this very nicely and easy in simple terms. I like how he explains things, makes people understand easily. And I think what we're going to do, if you've got a problem, I know a lot of people said during the coaching sessions, I don't know how I got to my price. I don't understand my costing. So I think this is also an opportunity for you, because I know people's eyes are like this. I know there are those people who are not tracking, who are not understanding where they the cost come from, or the selling price comes from, wages. Portia is selling quotas, I sell quotas, she charges 25 francs, I'm also going to charge 25 francs. All right, that's what people do there. They look at the next person, but they don't look at the quality that they have, or maybe the accessibility. You know, maybe they're more accessible than the other person. They're friendlier than the other person. Their bread is fresher than the other person's. You know, so they don't have to charge the same amount. All right. So let's look at net profit, Darren.
Okay, so net profit is essentially the gross profit plus any other income. Okay, so for instance, rent received or interest received, less all the indirect costs that and it's often necessary to first calculate the net profit before tax, because then tax is calculated on that amount afterwards. And again, we're going to get into it quite a bit more. But there's the formula up on there. So revenue minus expenses equals the net profit. All right, revenue is everything included. Okay, if there's tax on there, if there's interest on there, all of that minus the expenses gives you net profit.
Yeah, and I guess that answers Sandile's question. You know, so net profit is your total sales of goods and services minus all the expenses related to the production of that product. Okay, so and that talks to even the operating of the company, the operations of the company, and any associated taxes, fees, and interest. All right, now that after everything else, you know, it's done, it's paid. Whatever you get, that's why even when the salary slip, you get that net salary. Now that's all yours. All right, everything has been deducted already. So here also, when you get your net profit, you are done. All right, and then we can move.
We've got some calculations up. Do you want to talk through these?
Oh yeah, all right. So let's look at the net profit calculation. So they say net profit before tax, that NPBT, is equals to gross profit plus your other income minus your indirect cost. So I know there's people who don't have one product or one service. So when you say other income, it could be money that's coming from another business. And I know that I heard someone say, I've got two businesses. I'm in retail, I sell food, but then I've got other income that I receive from renting out space. And then I said, okay, do you include that income? Does it go into your business account? No, it goes to my personal account. But that's part of your business. That's another income stream. Why is it going to your personal? When you're saying this is a business I'm starting, I'm renting out my properties, but it's treated as a personal thing. It's not personal, it's other income. And nobody's going to take this from you. You know, it's all yours. It can go into your business account. And also when you're working out, you know, your calculations, doing your books, you add that as other income. And then you minus all the indirect costs. Because it looks like you're not making money, but you're actually making money. You've got this other 10,000 rand that's coming as income from somewhere else, but you're not incorporating it in your calculation. All right. And then there's net profit after tax, which is equals to net profit before tax minus your tax. Sandile, that's where the question is coming from. So before you get your net profit, you will have already minus your tax. All right. So not net profit after tax is often just referred to as net profit. People just say net profit. So you'll hear people, they'll never say net profit after tax, net profit before tax. You know, people just say it's net profit. So you know that everything has been deducted. All right. So your net profit percentage is equals to net profit divided by your sales times 100. Okay. All right. That's the formula. So guys, I think you have it in your books, in your manuals. Just try and look at maybe your calculations and then use the formula. You know, but you must make sure you've got your numbers correct, because you're not gonna get the right answer if you are not putting things down, all your costs down. So you need to get your variable costs right. You need to get your fixed costs right. Okay, you need to get your costing right, and you need to get your margins right. You know, and your markup right. That's what I mean. All right, so just make sure you've got all. If you get that right, then it's easy for you doing the calculations and getting them right, and getting your net profit correct, getting your gross profit correct. All right, so make sure you write everything down. Even if you haven't started, I know some people say, oh, I've started already. Good. Those who haven't, please, the sooner the better. The sooner the better. It's gonna be a lot of work, but start writing things down. Even if you're selling different products, you're making skirts, you're making dresses, you're making pants, come up with a scenario of how you charge people and create a playbook for yourself, a pricing playbook. Even if it's things that you just buy and sell. Look at the market, what are people selling these things for, and see what value are you bringing. If there's more value, even if you're buying them and selling them because you deliver, or you use good packaging, beautiful packaging, like Darren was saying, that packaging also costs money. Then you can put extra on your selling price. If the thing was selling for 50 Rand, everybody you sell it for 70 Rand because you have this great packaging. All right. So let's move, Darren, to VAT.
Let's move on to VAT. Okay, so VAT is something that we hear about all the time, and I want you to keep your questions around VAT, especially for our expert who is brilliant at answering questions related to VAT. But just so we understand, VAT is value added tax. All right, and it can either be expressed as a rand or as a percentage. All right. So presently, we all know VAT is 15%. This is set by the government. All right. So the government decides VAT currently is 15%, and so now we know every item we purchase has value added tax to the value of 15%. Now, most retail prices include VAT already, and so we call this amount including VAT, or sometimes if an amount excludes VAT, we call it VAT exclusive. And so very important, especially when you are quoting or when you are asking for quotes, you need to make sure does this price include or exclude VAT? And when you're quoting, you need to be able to express, am I including or excluding VAT? All right, because you don't want to find a surprise at the end of it. So now they say to you, oh, you're going to be able to buy the shoes at 100 Rand. And then you get to the shop and you realize they still need to add VAT onto it, but you've now already used 100 as your cost price. Meanwhile, it's 115. All right, so very important that you add in and you consider VAT as well when you are requesting quotations and even when you are providing quotations as well. All right.
Yeah. And I think people must just be aware about the rules. And I think I have posed one of those questions to our expert today. He's going to answer that question with why do people register for VAT and who charges VAT? So we're going to talk to the expert about that. And then let's look at VAT. So we said VAT is 450 times. So if they said the product is 450 or you're charging 450 and you need to add your VAT, you just times the 15% like Darren said, and then that's 15% for 15% of 450 is actually 67 Rand 50. All right. Or you can do a calculation like 450 times 0.15. It still gives you the 67 Rand 50. So the amount including VAT is going to be 517, but the one excluding the VAT will be 450. So always keep that in mind. Can move.
Sorry, this thing's moving slowly. Okay, let's look at break-even. Okay, break-even analysis. You'll often hear this term in business like, okay, so how much do you need to make to break even? So the break-even point is where your total income equals your total expenses, all right? And you are at break-even. So at this point, you are not making a loss, nor are you making a profit. Your net profit equals zero at your break-even point, okay? So it's basically, if we go back to the example of the hoodies earlier on, this is how much I've spent, this is how much I need to sell to at least make back what I've spent, and then after that, you are now moving into profit. All right, so net profit equals zero at the break-even point.
Yeah, and I just wanted to mention before, when we started talking about costing there on top, I just want to go back to the top. You don't have to go back at Darren. I'm just looking at my notes. Yeah, and I think somebody did mention for us to break even, we need to sell 84. So it means your sales, whatever sales that you've made, are equals to the total cost of your business. So at least you didn't make a loss. So your break even is actually a zero. It's there where the sales and the thing meets and your costs meet. So at least you are able to pay those overheads for 4,000 Rand. It was the overheads were 6,000 Rand and your variable costs were 4,000. At least you are able to cover and you can still run your business. Because the 4,000 Rand variable costs are the ones that you go back and go buy more stock. Add to your stock, and then the 6,000 Rand would be, you'll be able to still pay your salary, you still pay the rent, the electricity, the water, the transport. So you're still covered. Yeah. And then the only thing that you need to get over your break even or to do better is to just create a sales target for yourself. Okay, I know that when I want to break even, I need to sell this much a day. I used to do that actually, Darren, when I was in retail. I knew every day how much I need to make.
Yeah.
Because I knew that my break even is at this much. I knew how much I needed to make to actually break even. And a day, if I wanted to break even, I had to make 6,500. How do you like that?
Sure.
So every time I made 4.5, I would stress so much because I'm like, if I make this 4.5 the whole week, it means my month is ruined. So I needed ways to push the sales. I'll start marketing more. I start going on Facebook just to push the sales, or putting stuff on promotion just to push my sales up. Because I knew that if I just make 6,000 Rand every day, I'm going to break even. Yeah. And you know how business is. Some days you'll make 7,000 Rand, some days you make 4,000 Rand, some days 6,000. And then there are days where you just make, it's end of the month, you make 20,000 Rand. But it's nice because I start adding every day when I close the shop, I would put my total sales for the day. And that is from the card machine and from the cash. All right, so I look at the card transactions because the machine prints out at the end of the day. Okay, it tells me that, okay, you've made 4.5. I go to the till. I take what's in the till, count. Okay, this is 2,000 Rand. So I made 6.5 for the day. So, and then I write that down. And I would usually show my employees that, okay, guys, this is how much you made. Let's push. We know that we need to make 6,000 Rand a day. So communication to your staff, because you're not there all the time. So those guys who are helping you, they also need to know that for this business to keep running and to keep paying us a salary, we need to push ourselves. So don't keep it a secret. You are working with these guys, you're paying them a salary. You must communicate, guys. Every day we need to at least push ourselves to this much. So people always know they work harder because they know, we're still at 3,000. And I've seen the clothing shops, they do it. If you go to them, you'll see how people are pushing when it's about end of the month. They work extra hours so that they can get their sales, other and commission from these sales. So you can also do that to push your staff to sell your product more. You can just push yourself, guys, let's push to at least 20,000 today. Each and every one of you will get a commission. So those are the ways that you can actually increase your profit margins.
So your break-even point is where you smile, and after that you're in profit, so then you dance, and you're like, yeah, now we go.
Can I tell you what break-even is good for me? I never used to understand, break-even. Breaking even is good. It's better than making a loss, where you can't pay. You don't even know how you're going to pay your stuff. And that's frustrating if you're an entrepreneur. You don't know how you're going to pay your bills, or especially paying someone else who's relying on you. They've been there every day, and you don't even have money to pay them. It's not enough. So, and that's where marketing goes. So that's why I like L plus myBIZ. We cover everything. So that, okay, I must start marketing more. I used to do that. The minute I see myself for 3 days, they low, I start pushing promotions, start selling things cheaper. And when I'm saying cheaper, it doesn't mean I'm going beyond my cost price. If I know something, I bought something for 70 Rand and I was selling it for 120, then I reduce that thing to like 90 Rand. I still make the 20 Rand, so I'm still going to make money. I'm not making a loss. So when you see those sales, guys, when they say 50% discount, no, they're still covering their costs. They know what their costs are. They bought that thing for 70 Rand, they'll charge 90 Rand. And when we're excited because it was 120, now it's 90 Rand. They're still actually making a profit. It's just that they want to take out that product from the shelf. They want to move the stuff from the shelf. They need the money to run their business. So when products are lying on the shelf, it's your money. It's your money sitting there. It's not moving, it's sitting. So you need to move it to actually start paying your rent, your employees. And so it's a strategy. That's why I'm saying it's a technique. It's a strategy to just push those sales up. Yeah.
All right, let's get the quiz up, team. If we can put up the quiz. We have 8 questions on this one, so make sure you answer all 8 questions. Click all the way down to the bottom before you click submit. And remember, once you have completed the survey or the quiz, please type done in the chat. All right. Portia, is there anything else that you wanted to add? Anything that you feel like we forgot to cover?
I wanted to say the other important thing about just knowing your numbers, if you want to do a turnaround strategy for your business, you can never do that if you don't know what the numbers are. The other thing is the value. If somebody had to say, I want to buy your business, or what is your business? What is the worth of your business? You can't tell if you don't understand your numbers. How do you know how much your business is worth? Because you don't even know how much stock you have. Remember the numbers, you must know your stock. You must know how much your business has made over the years. So if you're saying, I've been running my shop for 5 years, and then you show us the sales. You do look at your management of accounts for every year, since you started, we can tell how this business is doing. Is it sustainable? Does it have potential for growth? Or it seems like things are going bad. Since I know I got to a stage where I was like, I need to close down, because I could see that I'm not even breaking even anymore. Competition, it's, my pricing is high and I can't change my pricing because of my total cost. Because I knew my numbers, so I knew that this is not going to work. So it's easy to make a decision when you know your numbers. So that decision could be closing down, like you're saying, I'm not going to sell the skirts, I'm going to sell Magwinya. If I'm going to sell Magwinya, I'm selling Magwinya because I can see the cost of selling Magwinya, and the number of people, the demand for Magwinya can make my business sustain itself. All right, or I can sustain my life. So it's nice to know the numbers. That's why I'm saying it's comfortable. There's so much stuff you can do, even just making a decision about where you want to go.
Absolutely. Okay, I think we can take down the quiz. Looks like most people have completed it. Thank you so much, Ibiri. Okay, I think what we're going to do is, while we are waiting for Mike to join us, I'm going to go to something else that we had scheduled for today on the webinar. And so we want to do a quick little temperature check. Okay, so let's do this now, and then we'll come back to our guest. So the temperature check, guys, we just want to get a little bit of feedback in terms of how you are experiencing the program so far. We are now 6 webinars in. We've been doing this for almost 2-3 months already, and we just want to get your feedback. So in the chat, we'd love you to please type your feedback in the chat. Give us a comment in the chat. Tell us what you think of the program. What do you think of the guests that have been on? What do you think of the facilitators? Anything that comes to mind when you think about the L Plus Earn Biz program. So let's take a minute, and I'd like everybody on the webinar today, please just type in the chat and just let us know, just give us some of your feedback. We are now 6 weeks in. We've still got a couple of weeks to go. The program is not over, but we want to get a sense of how you are experiencing the program. All right, so I'm going to stop talking for a couple of seconds or a minute, and I'd just like everybody to just quickly go into the chat and just give us your feedback on how you are experiencing the program so far. Anything that you would like to mention, any feedback that you would like to give, we'd love for you to type it in the chat right now, which is going to give our guest a moment to try and connect, and then we'll come back and catch up with him. But let's do this in the meantime. So let us know your feedback in the chat, please. Some feedback coming through. Sandile saying, I'm enjoying the program. My coaches helped start the project I've been procrastinating for a while. Great stuff. Love that, Sandile. Darius says, practical and informative, short and sweet there. Darius, thank you. Muraro says, going well, a bit behind with a few things. The program helps one keep in the business. Nice. Love it. Keep it coming, guys. We want to get your feedback. We'd love to know how you are experiencing the program so far. So if we can have everybody type in the chat. We are recording this feedback as well to make sure that we get feedback from all of you. So please type that in the chat. We're just waiting for our guest to join us, and then we will continue the discussion with him shortly. Remember, the question we're asking is, how have you been experiencing the program? What has been a highlight for you? What do you wish there was more of? What do you think of the guests that have come on? Anything that you want to say. I know there will be surveys later down the line, but for now, we really just want to get a raw and an authentic sense of exactly how you are experiencing the program. All right, so keep that coming. Please type it in the chat. I'll read out some of them. I think it would be great. Paul says, this is a productive program. I learned things that I wasn't aware of, and ever since I've been here, I can positively say my business is growing very well. one other thing, I'd also love to have a personal mentor. Beautiful. Thank you, Pearl. Thanks for sharing that. And in the meantime, I know while you don't have a personal mentor, take full advantage of your coach and your coaching sessions. All right. For me, concerning the program, it's very exciting, as it has been an eye-opener for me as I've been in the darkness while running the business. That's from Percy. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Percy. Kitty says, first of all, I would like to be thankful for this program. I'm motivated and I have faith that it's possible for my business to grow. I also change in my business. Beautiful. Thank you there. Tembelihle is saying, I'm really enjoying the coaching sessions. It helped me see my business from a different perspective. The pressure's a bit overwhelming sometimes, especially because I'm a bit of a procrastinator, but it's really helping me grow as a person and also grow the business. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah. Pocheko saying, what I can say is it's super beneficial. My business fundamentals are now solid. Nice. Keep the feedback coming, guys.
Yeah.
Sandile says the business model canvas was the best for me. It helped really see what is unique about my business. I think that was one of the key takeaways with value proposition, especially as far as the business model canvas goes.
Yeah.
Wendy says, Portia, were you wanting to say something?
Well, yeah, I was saying I like Wendy's one, also saying my experience so far is really motivational and informative. Not to forget, understanding my mentor is productive and a pusher. Wow. My highlight is that I'm able to write everything down. Thank you so much.
Love it. Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah. Oh, Christina. Hi, Christina. Christina says the program is very informative, has helped a lot in understanding what I ought to do and realizing the mistakes I have been doing, motivating to push more. The program is very insightful. Great, guys.
I think we missed Palesa's comments. It's so far so good. I'm ready to give my coach a report on the goals I've set and those I've already achieved. Really motivated to keep my business alive and stop procrastination. Love it, guys. Thank you so much for all of that. And then while I was checking the chat, I saw an interesting notification saying Mike Mokoka has joined. All right, so without further delay, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce our guest today. We love having him on the program. He's just such a wealth of information, and so I want to encourage you guys to take notes as he speaks. But let me quickly tell you who he is. So Mike Mokoka has a passion to help startups and small business owners and individuals to manage and grow their financial well-being. He has a strong financial management and tax background, and he provides his clients with bookkeeping services, business capacity building, and financial management advice. Mike has gained his knowledge and experience by working in the manufacturing, construction, automotive, and NGO sectors for more than 2 decades. I've only been alive for 2 decades. I'm kidding. But without further delay, Mr. Mokoka, can you turn your video on and welcome. You're looking good on this Heritage Weekend.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. Are you well? And a happy Heritage Day.
Thank you so much. It's so good to have you. We absolutely love having you on these webinars. We know that you have such a wealth of information to share with us. I want to just take the screen down so we can see you nice and clear. But let's kick off the discussion. We're talking obviously business and we're talking around all of these things. So let's start with gross profit. How does gross profit affect the overall profit of the business?
The gross profit, basically, when you talk profit, we talk about what the return that you have earned after you have taken out your operating cost. There is a gross profit and net profit. So gross profit is after you have you have sold or you manufactured something, you sell them, and after that you take out the cost of sale. You see, maybe it's your manufacturing cost plus the cost of sale, marketing, distribution, and all those. So you take it and then you minus. Then after that you get your gross profit. The gross profit is before you can take out administrative expense and others. Like before, when you take salaries and all those things, then you go down. Those is when the difference between that is the gross profit is the net profit. So the gross profit in most cases is just an indicator to show that what you are doing, are you really breaking even? Is there efficiency in your operations? You see, so it's a good measure to check that, okay, I'm doing, at least I'm recovering my cost, you see, from the price, from the expenses that I get to manufacture, cost of sale. at least I derive value out of what I'm doing.
Makes sense. Let's move on to net profit then. So what is net profit and what is the rule for net profit?
Net profit is after you have taken out your salaries. You know, I always tell people that if you want to be wealthy and what, you must pay yourself first. You see, after you have paid yourself first and pay the others, then you know that, okay, because the danger of it is that people want to show net profit, but without accounting for things like paying themselves, paying salaries and all those. So salaries, administrative costs like rental, and also after you have minus the tax, you see, because you know that we have to pay taxes. So if you haven't paid after taxes, then you get the net profit. But before that, there is a profit before tax and interest. So after that, you account for interest and tax, and then after that, that is the net profit. And the net profit is what we call the ultimate return on what you are doing as a business. Then you elect whether you put it as a return profit or what, but it's very healthy that when you are in a business, you retain it, because you'll never know when you will have a cash flow crunch, you see. So you must retain the profit. You mustn't just see the profit and start eating. So that, as I always say, that the profit and the gross profit and all those things after minusing the expense is the process of measuring where are you. Because if you don't measure it, you can't manage it.
Yeah. So, Mr. Bokoka, so we were talking a little bit earlier, quite a little bit about especially pricing and costing. Now, I know you work with a lot of businesses. What are some of the mistakes that you see often that business owners or entrepreneurs make when it comes to pricing and costing?
Yeah, pricing and costing, people used to use this thing interchangeably and confuse it. You see, costing is about you get that really when you want to give a service or manufacture something, try to put all those things that the input cost, everything that you need in order to manufacture or to render a service. You see, if you are manufacturing let's say you are a street corner, you are doing the Kota township baker. You see, you have to put in, what is the cost of my egg? What is the cost of my bologna Russian and all those things? And you cost them as within that, because you buy them in bulk. If I have this a bag of potato that costs 70 rand, in ultimate is gonna make me cater for maybe 100 part or the township baker. So you know that, okay, I must take that 70 divided by 100, and then I get the cost per baker of the mazamban that the potato that I put in. You see, so you must build in your cost, and then after that is when you say that, okay, it takes me 10 rand to manufacture this or to render this service. So what will be the price? When you come to price, then you put the markup. You want to make a return. You don't want to have something. If you don't get the costing right, let me say that maybe take you 15 rand to produce that. Then you go and sell it for 13 rand because you are not sure about your cost. You have not done costing. You haven't put all the costs together. Then you are running the business at a loss. They might queue a lot of them there, but if you cannot recover your cost and break even, you will never make profit. So, and you must also take into consideration labor, those variable costs. They are fixed costs that you can't do without. Like, that if I'm running this type of a business, I'm paying rent every month, I have to pay this. So those are type of fixed costs that don't change. And there are variable costs which you can influence by maybe bringing efficiency within the business, cutting cost here and there. Those you can change, but the others you cannot change. There's fixed cost. So after you have done all your costing, and when you do the cost, you must also take fixed cost into consideration, that they must go within your recovery structure of whatever product or what you sell. And then after that is when you put the markup. When you put the markup, that is the part of what you want to earn, so the profit on whatever you are doing. So then you determine the price of your good. You see, from that price of your good, the difference between cost and price is what you earn.
Gotcha. Let's move on to the next topic, which is tax. This is the scary one. So especially when it comes to VAT, tell us, why do businesses register for VAT? And then maybe you can also expand and tell us which businesses and who should register for VAT.
The business register for VAT. If you register, let's say that what is the threshold for VAT? What is the importance of VAT? VAT is a tax that everyone pays when you buy. It's a value-added tax on every product unless it's exempted or is zero-rated, like milk, vegetable, and all other exempted things. So the VAT, in order to pay VAT, if you got a business, it's got a turnover of more than $1 million, you are forced to register VAT. You must register for VAT. And as you register for VAT, if you are a VAT registered, people think that when they register for VAT, they're gonna recover the VAT money. It's not like that. You see, if you see yourself that you're getting a refund when you pay the VAT, value-added tax, at the month when you do your return, you get a refund. That means that your cost is more than your income. You see, so it's one of the red flag. But once when you sell, your selling is more than your stock. What you buy and bring in a stock, that means that there is that profit. You see, it's one of the indicators to show that the business is doing good when you start to pay, because there is an output. Input is that tax that you put in, and then when you buy something, like you buy stock. You buy is this plus 15% VAT, then you come, you put it into your cost and then after that you go and you put what you have bought, and then as you sell, if you are a VAT registered vendor, you must also over and above your price charge VAT, add VAT on that. So that VAT will come to you minus the input and the output. The difference is either if the input is higher, then you have to pay. If the output is higher, then you get a refund from SARS.
Got you. So we had a question earlier on from, I think it was Sandile, who was asking, do you charge VAT on top of VAT? So if you are a business, and let's maybe say, for instance, a business that is not registered for VAT because you don't reach the threshold, should you still add VAT when you charge? How do you calculate for that VAT portion?
No, you don't charge VAT. You put it as it's all part of your cost if you are not VAT registered. You have not. If you buy it for let's say that is 10 Rand plus VAT, which will be 100 Rand plus VAT, which will be 115 Rand. Then you have, when you do your costing, you have to take your product is 115 Rand, because you're not gonna recover that.
Got you. Okay, let's open it up and see if there are any questions, guys. So any questions for Mr. Mokoka, please type them in the chat. Of course, if you'll just help me have a look at it there. Sandile, you can unmute yourself. We see you. Let's get you to unmute and ask your question.
When it comes to VAT, I'm seeing here the other zero-rated VAT goods and such as bread and stuff. Are those things added on VAT even though they are zero-rated VAT? What does that mean?
I didn't get that one quite well.
Just ask it again.
Oh, when it comes to VAT, there are other items the other goods that are zero-rated. Yes.
Okay.
You add VAT on the zero-rated VAT items.
Yeah, there are those that are zero-rated. There are those that are exempted from VAT. Those are two different goods. You see, if you take like fuel, like petrol or diesel, we say is zero-rated, because there is VAT on it, but at 0%, it's zero-rated. But there are those that are exempted from VAT, the things that we call like vegetables, milk. Most agricultural products are zero-rated. Why are they zero-rated? It's because the government doesn't want to. It wants to meet the people, the consumer, halfway, so that they don't really have to pay more for food. You see, because those are regarded as basic food and also to promote agricultural products. And it's mostly part of the stable diet of the people. So you don't want people paying more because VAT increases prices.
Thank you for that question, Sandile. Anyone else with a question? Portia, if you have any questions, please feel free to jump in and ask there as well. Okay, so here's a question from Wendy. It says, at how much must a business generate to start paying tax?
It's 1 million to start to paying tax that you are forced to pay. But you can do voluntary registration at any time if you feel like you want to be a voluntary charge VAT, depending what type of industry you are, so that you can also recover the input VAT, the output VAT that when you buy. The input when you buy, yeah.
Just for clarity, are you saying 1 million is when you must pay VAT or any tax?
You must register when you are reaching 1 million. But they also is very important. This type of VAT of tax that has been done for small business, which you don't really have to pay, is kind of a VAT on a tax on small business that you have to not register for VAT, but it's a threshold tax, what you call threshold. So it depends how much you get, your turnover is, and then you start to be taxed. I think about 300,000 and less, you not pay any tax on it, but you must register, and you must also make sure that your financial year is start at the 1st of March of your company in order to qualify and register as a small business.
The next question
is a turnover of less than 10 million.
Yes. Sandile there's got a question.
Yeah, this one says, are there any benefits for a business to register for VAT?
Yeah, in a nutshell, there are not really the benefits, if I can say, is that because if you make profit, you're still going to pay it back, you see. So either way, it's just that in South Africa, I can say that the tax regime is very cumbersome for small business sometimes, and then there are other people that will exclude you from doing business with you because you are not VAT registered, of which is not a legal requirement for people to do VAT. So some of the people, in most cases, they are forced to pay to do this VAT. But in most cases, if your business is more involved with import and export of things, then you have to register. It's very good that you register so that you can recover. Yes.
Beautiful. Any other questions, guys? It's not every day we have someone with this knowledge on a call like this. So let's ask the question. In the meantime, while we're waiting for more questions, Mr. Mokoka, so what is some advice that you could give to small businesses or business owners on the call today, especially when it comes to costing, pricing, tax, any of those issues?
I used to tell people that, you know what, costing, you can use your pricing innovatively and differentiate yourself. How do you as a business differentiate yourself and be innovative? You see, this word innovative, when you talk, people think that you must manufacture or create something new. No, it's not about that. Innovation is about thinking out of the box and getting and doing things differently from others, and then they make you stand out of the lot. So if imagine, I used to tell people that, you know what, there are two vendors, there are two people that are selling, business people that are selling same product. They both charge it 250. But the one, when you market this product, he says that I'm selling my product is 200 Rand plus shipping is 250 plus shipping 50 Rand, which makes it 250. The other one put a notice there when you market this business, you say, I sell for 250, shipping is free. So people, when they see free, they go and buy free, you see. But at the end of the day, is how you package yourself, how you package and differentiate yourself from the lot. Because in business, as a small business, don't try to get into the market and try to undercut the established competitors, because you are starting a price war that you will never win, you understand? It's how you differentiate yourself and innovative without engaging in price war, trying to cut established because they will retaliate and cut you out of the market.
I like that. That's such a cool tip, guys. So start offering free, even though you include it in your pricing. Sandile, you can unmute yourself and let's take your question.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm in an event space, and sometimes I do shows outside South Africa. That's liable to the country that I'll be doing shows in.
So you are in the entertainment industry?
Yes.
So you do shows outside of the country. So you get paid through who are the promoters? Normally you get paid here, or you paid for service by the people that will have requested your service, because also it depends where the service is being consumed, you see.
Yes.
It also depends on
the people that call.
Sorry?
I get paid by the people that call me on the other side, on the other countries, like the Swaziland, the Botswana.
Yeah, but when you go there, you cannot charge them for that. You have just to do an invoice, because it's outside South Africa. So you just have to invoice them with what you call a financial invoice. Create a financial invoice them. They get paid to you, and then you satisfy all the requirements to receive payment from outside the country. That is got also the Reserve Bank will be a bit involved on that, of receiving those funds through your bank. You see, so in that instant, because of you are doing your product is going out, I will say that, and also because you don't don't try to go and register for VAT for that type of a business. But only when you meet that threshold. Is it a company, or you do it as you are as an individual, as a sole proprietor?
It's a company.
It's a company. So your turnover?
Turnover last year was 350K.
Yeah, wait till it gets to 1 million, where you voluntarily will have to do. Okay.
Thanks, Sandile. Here's another question from Tombe Kanyise, saying, I'm a supplier to this company. Whenever they pay me, VAT is included to my payment, whereby they pay me. Will I one day be charged by SARS for this?
When they pay him, does he really go there? How does he do his invoice when he sends the invoice? Because that is where the thing, the source document is the invoice. If you include that when you invoice them, you charge them VAT, then you are doing it. If you are not VAT registered, then it's an illegal transaction. You mustn't show VAT on it. You must not make it a tax invoice and calculate VAT. But I'm not saying that reduce the price. You can still price it, but don't show it as VAT inside.
Yeah.
So you should just label your invoice as invoice with no tax.
Yeah.
Got you. Thank you. Anyone else with a question? Portia, anything from you as we wrap up the discussion with Mr. Mokoka?
No, I'm good.
Mr. Mokoka, thank you so much for being with us. I think we always learn so much when you are on these webinars. Give us some final words of wisdom, anything that you feel we didn't touch on, but you feel like is important for the entrepreneurs on the call today to know.
Okay, what I can say today, gift of the day is that, thought of the day is just think innovatively, differentiate yourself in an innovative way without undercutting yourself.
Love it. Short and sweet. Thank you so much. That beard is looking very good. It suits you. And
thank you, Darren.
Somebody
is nearly approaching the SASA line.
We'll catch up with you later. Thank you so much for being with us on today's webinar, Mr. Mokoka. All right, guys. That was Mr. Mokoka. Always so informative. I'm hoping we'll have him on again on a future webinar. But for now, let's move on. We have taken all of the questions. I think, Portia, we can move to some final announcements before we wrap up today's session.
Yeah. So the first one would be just your homework. Please, as always, we're going to send you a costing sheet after this so that you can do your costing. And please, I know a lot of people, and somebody's saying we can't receive homework in Word. All right. And then please complete it by the 8th of October. We know who obviously submits the homework late. It's fine. But even if you're late, because I know we are all businesses and we get too busy, can we please at least still send your homework so that we see if you understand exactly how to apply or use these tools, and apply like your costing skills in your business. And please use the numbers in your business. Don't just do a simulation with numbers that you don't know. Rather use your business numbers or amounts or profit or whatever, but use your business as an example. And then remember not to send on WhatsApp. And I think our next webinar is going to be on the 6th. So it's going to be on the 6th of October. Mind that 20th of October, it's I think I had forgotten it. We have moved it. It's on the 6th of October. And we've done the temperature check.
We've done that, yes. So without further delay, let us get our cameras on and let's take our Heritage Day photo, everybody together. Let's get those cameras on. Let's see everybody looking good. Hey, look at Molokadi's outfit there. Nice one, nice one. The guys are all not dressed heritage.
Okay.
Check Sandile there with a check Lindy Sipos. She's got a great t-shirt. Amokelang.
Oh, guys, what happened?
Maybe we forgot.
I tried to remind you.
Are we all there? Cameras on, guys. Cameras on. Looking good.
I like the neck piece.
Jakani, is that your Heritage Day outfit, that one?
Jakani just ran quickly and took
it. No, it's not. It's a bonnet.
Oh my gosh. No.
All right,
no, Caroline.
Let's all smile. Let's give some good waves there. Take those pictures, guys. Team taking pictures in the background. Good to see everybody on the webinar today. Thank you so much for being with us. Again, such an informative session. Thank you for being participative, and thank you for being so engaging. Thank you for your comments and your questions. We wish you great success. Remember, please take advantage of those coaching sessions. Keep in touch with your coach. Get that homework in, even if it's late, just get it in. Start working towards your pitches. That's coming up pretty soon. And that's it from our side. It's been a pleasure being with you all this morning, and we will see you in a couple of weeks for webinar number 7, which will be part 2 of costing and pricing. Have a good day and have a good weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.